Revelator Aggregator. So it's been a while since my first video, actually, that I've dipped my toe into the Paul is dead corner of the truth community. Just recently, two prominent Paul is dead researchers hit on something that's like right up my alley. It is right in the wheelhouse of the Revelator Aggregator YouTube channel. I always like to give attribution. Mike Williams and Tina Foster were the two researchers. Mike Williams has the Sage of Quay YouTube channel, and he also has a Paul is Dead YouTube channel. And Tina Foster's been on a lot of stuff. I think she's just got a new book out, and she's also had a blog for many years called Plastic Maca, all about the McCartney cover-up. Before I get too much further along, it's probably a good idea to give some background on the whole PID thing. The general outlines are as follows. On September 11th, 1966, as I've said in a previous video, September 11th, I believe, is Yeshua the Messiah's birthday, and that's why they like to do all these hoogie-boogie sacrifices and rituals on that day. On September the 11th, 1966, the original Paul McCartney was sacrificed or murdered in an automobile accident, and his main replacement who was waiting in the wings was William Shepard. And there's also other replacements that people have discussed. I think there's other replacements too. Mike Williams calls one of them Street Paul, who was like the public appearance Paul, and William Shepard, or Billy Shears, was the studio replacement. Now in his book, Billy Shears, William Shepard essentially says that he's descended from William Wallace, who was Braveheart, so he's bloodline, and he strongly hints that he was the son also of Aleister Crowley, the Beast 666, the wickedest man alive. We've discussed Crowley on this channel before. But as such, he was basically taught to think and speak backwards, that he was satanically abused or placed under trauma-based mind control, tomato, and all this other stuff. This is in his book, The Memoirs of Billy Shears, I believe is what it's called. I haven't read it. Mike Williams and other people have. That's where I'm getting this information from. Mike Williams has also made the point that this book contains song lyrics from lots of different groups that would have required copyright, permission, licensing, or whoever wrote it would get the pantsuit off of them. And also that I believe the son of George Martin, the Beatles producer, wrote the foreword. So it seems legit, whoever wrote this book, and it seems like whoever wrote it is connected to the Beatles. So there's compelling evidence that this was written by Billy Shears for real. Now I'll get to the meat of it, which you can tell by the pictures and stuff I've put up. One of the replacements, whether it's William Shepard or Street Paul or whoever, has 6 toes on each foot. And polydactyly, or whatever it's called, having 6 fingers, 6 toes, that's a sign that someone is descended from the fallen angels, or rather from the giants who were the sons of the fallen angels born to them by women. Now briefly, this is discussed in Genesis chapter 6. I've gone into it quite a bit on my channel, and it's discussed in further detail in the book of Enoch. But 2 Samuel references these giants that had 6 fingers and 6 toes. So in the fall of 1966, Paul was replaced by a number of doubles, Billy being the primary replacement. And Billy was from a bloodline family. Bloodline meaning essentially that he was descended from the Nephilim or the fallen angels. That's how they say bloodline, and us peasants think, oh, royalty. Well, where do y'all think royalty came from, or this whole obsession with royal blood and keeping the blood royal and everything came from? It's because royalty's descended from fallen angels. Now, Mike Williams just had a recent video where he postulated that someone other than Billy was the one with 6 toes, one of the other doubles. And I strongly disagree. If we've already established... Now, Mike Williams, I don't believe, is coming at this from a biblical sort of persuasion or perspective. But if we've already established that Billy is descended from a bloodline family, then wouldn't it make sense that he was the one that had 6 toes on each foot? Or maybe one of the other doubles is also descended from a bloodline family. Who knows? But I just think this McCartney thing, when you first look at it, it's like, oh, who cares that some pop singer was replaced? But that rabbit hole is weird and deep and like ties in every conceivable conspiracy theory imaginable. You've got the whole Tavistock Institute, British intelligence wanting to put an inside man into the most influential rock group in the world to socially engineer the masses. You've got this whole angle of a hoogie boogie Illuminati sacrifice. You've got the potential child of Aleister Crowley serving as the chief replacement. You've got the fact that the sacrifice happened on what I believe to be the birthday of the Messiah, and on the same day of what would later be like the biggest catastrophic event in American history. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and now you have this information surfacing that one of the doubles, I believe Billy, has 6 toes on each foot, which even more directly ties it to some Illuminati, hoogie boogie, fallen angel stuff. So I just had to share this with y'all. Y'all can look into all this if I sound like a crazy person to you. I know if you're new to this whole thing, you probably think I sound like a maniac, and that's fine. I'm not. But look into it, because it's far out, man. Father God bless you all. Jesus Christ saves. Stay positive.